hour. And people was just restless. Like, people were sitting on the floor. Like, it looked like we were, like, trapped. Because we were trapped. Because we were in Secaucus. And it was like, who the fuck is taking a lift from Secaucus back to Times Square or, like, Penn Station?
That's such a downer after you had such a
No, it was the worst. It was awful.
Right.
Like, and everyone was in a shitty mood because...
And this is after you've been drinking and having...
After you've been drinking, after you've been fucking jumping around and screaming ape shit for 40 minutes. Like...
They didn't perform ape shit for 40 minutes, did
they? They didn't. But you get my point, though. Like, after, you know, it's a very high energy concert. So, like, to do all of that and then be stuck on the fucking train station in Secaucus, it's like, where the fuck is Secaucus at? I was so mad. I didn't get home until 3:30 in the morning. Ooh. And that concert was over by, like, we were probably leaving the venue, like, 12:30. Maybe, like, 11:30, actually. Maybe, like, 11:45. Terrible. But I'm not going to let that thorn fuck up my bouquet of roses. Got many roses that night. It was a great time. So shout out to Jay, shout out to Blue, shout out to B, shout out to Sarah and Rumi, shout out to Tina, shout out to Mr. Lawson, shout out to Salon, shout out to Kelly. You stop me whenever you feel necessary. Shout out to Michelle, shout out to... You see those fucking... Let me not... Oh God, forgive me. I was gonna call them bitches. But you see these motherfuckers at the show fighting?
No, I did.
And they weren't... I don't
know why I always get this shit across my timeline.
I think they were in my section. Not in my section. But like,
the security had to break that up, right?
Yeah, there was... I saw security in the video. But I remember that point of the concert, and it was like... And it was weird. That was the only time where like...
So you remember this part? Like, you...
Well, no, I didn't see the fight.
But you felt the distraction.
Well, no, but that was... No, I definitely didn't feel... I was talking to somebody else that went to the show like the next day. And she was like, you heard about the fight? And I was like, yeah. But I was like, I'm not paying to look at anybody that's not on this fucking stage. I'm not looking at anybody that's not on this fucking stage. Like, even my friend Asha that went with, I looked at her probably like 3 times the whole concert. Like, I'm not here to see you. Like, I'll see you later. Like, I am in the zone. But I was like, what the fuck are y'all fighting for? Just getting me angry.
What could you possibly fight for?
What could you be fighting for?
Right.
And that part was so big because, so Jay-Z was doing Paris. And they literally brought up the house lights because he wanted to... It was, the whole, like, left side make some noise, right side make some noise. But he was like, let me get some lights on the right side. So, like, the lights come up a little bit. And he's like, nah, I want to see you from this very first person all the way up to, like, the top of the MetLife sign. So I deal at the top of the stadium. So, the stadium lights were on, like, bright as fuck. And apparently these two motherfuckers was in the corner scrapping about what? I don't know. But I was like, how are y'all fighting at this point of the concert? Like, this part was like...
They made the lights?
I don't know if they made... I don't know. But I was like, do better. Y'all need to do better. But all in all, great time. I'm trying to figure out how I can go to another date, but there's really no more tri-state area dates. And
I just asked you if there are any more tri-state.
There's none. There's one more New York date, but it's like somewhere upstate. It's like 6 hours from us, and that's too far for me to get to.
Who got a jet?
Who got the jet?
Send
I would go to Houston, but I'm not going to be in America that weekend, so that's annoying.
Oh, shit, you want...
Oh, shut up.
You've been getting to the money.
Everybody mad. Yeah.
I asked Malcolm before we started this show about Beyonce doing that track.
Getting to the Money.
Getting to the Money about OT Genesis. And we were laughing. I was just like, you don't know how much of like hits OT Genesis has.
This is true.
And I played you the rundown.
Yeah, no, I was I'm surprised, I guess. But like I felt like auntie surprise. Like when you be like, oh, people don't really confuse Nicki Minaj for anybody, but like, oh, this, Tinashe too. It's like, oh, I like that song. They played it on BLS. I know that. Like that kind of thing.
There's a few artists out there that hasn't released a lot of music, but they have a continuous bunch of hits that they've just been releasing.
Oh yeah.
Like, wow. OT's one of them. This is good that she shines.
Which is very similar to Nicki's beginning track. Like when Nicki had like 5 like popping singles before she even had like a debut album. Right. I mean, he's had an album, so I don't really count. But like that path of like single before you really get to the big album, which flopped. The big album.
If you know what works for you and it's continuously working, fuck it, do it.
Word.
How do you feel about, speaking of Khaled, 1 second, how do you feel about him joining forces with Justin Bieber and Quavo for
that song?
With Chance? Yeah,
I didn't hear it. I mean, I heard it one day because they played it on Power, like that top of the hour iHeart package rollout situation that they do, but after that one day, I didn't hear it I haven't heard it since.
I looked at the artwork, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Not again.
I don't listen to new music because I don't like none of that new Nicki and Tekashi shit. I was like, I don't. No.
You got me talking about it.
Not for me.
It kind of goes.
Not for me. No.
It kind of goes.
No, I can't do it. I'm sorry.
And it wouldn't go.
But I, you know what? I also watched it with the video, which is something I also usually never do. But it came across my timeline, so I was like, let me just watch this shit. And I watched it, and I was like, I don't think that's for me. And that's fine. You know, everything is not for everybody. Like, that just reminded me of something. I'm gonna get back to that point later, though. But yeah, everything is not for everybody. So I just have to accept that, and I also have to understand that Nicki Minaj does not make music for me, because that is something that's very clear. Like, if you are over the age of 21, Nicki Minaj is probably not talking to you. So,
Nicki Minaj, wasn't she supposed to release an album this week? Or?
She was August 10th, I believe. So that would be like Friday.
Oh.
But
she was asking. Oh, that's what
she said.
She was asking about whether we want to wait for
Mike Francesca. Yeah,
she was asking us whether we the public or we the fans, we the listeners. I don't know.
I was like, we the fans. Who are you talking to?
We the public. Let's keep it like that. She was asking whether if we want to wait for the clearance to go through.
So,
or
from what I heard, means I was listening to the read, but Fury and Crystal was talking about it, and pretty much they were saying that there's a song that she has with some big hip hop artist is a song she has with a big hip hop artist, but they used a sample from, I can't think of who it is now, but some singer or like some artist, and they're waiting for her to clear the sample. But Nick is basically like, do y'all want to wait for me to get the sample cleared?
Well, who the fuck could the artist be that we could have to wait any further?
Hold on. Because
is it Jay?
No, it's not. Oh, wait. Oh, you mean like the feature?
Yeah, the feature.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, who does she do this song with that, would be such a...
And she hasn't released the album in, what, 4 years?
I don't really know, because Nicki Minaj released that same... right? Nicki Minaj released that same album, the previous one, like 3 different times. It was like Roman Reloaded, Roman Re-Up, Roman Regassed. It was like... No, like
Roman Fully Loaded.
Yeah, Roman Fully Loaded. Like, every time she just put fucking 2 new songs on it, and I was like, this is not a fucking album. Like, what the anyway, I don't know. Whatever.
So would you wait? Would you want to wait for another week or so?
I am not waiting for new Nicki Minaj music. Who the fuck do you think I am?
If it was Beyonce, what would you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if I had to, Tracy Chapman, that's who it was. Do you know who Tracy Chapman is?
You know what's fucking terrible? That
search Google for Tracy Chapman.
No, let me tell you.
She's black.
If she keeps people waiting, and the track or the album overall is underwhelming.
Oh yeah. Well,
so we waited for this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hold on. Let me see what her like most popular song is.
I say release the album and then release the track separately.
Nah, I say release the track, because I feel like because basically from the way I understood it, she was basically saying, like, do y'all want the album on the 10th, or do you want to wait another week? I'm like, well, quote unquote, I could wait another week. Like, but again, Nicki Minaj stands are like
guaranteed.
Probably not, and it'll get pushed back again, and we're gonna get that shit for her birthday in like November or whatever. But again, Nicki Minaj stands, like, they don't operate like adults, because they're not adults. Like, they still have homeroom, they still have regents. They are very happy that it's summer break. They can't wait to go back for senior year. Like, they don't operate in the same capacity that I do. So if Beyonce told me, like, oh, I have like a great feature, you might have to wait another 2 months for the album, I'd be like, all right, do your thing. Because again, like Beyonce, Jay-Z, many people, but I have trust, the artists that I truly love, I trust them enough where I know if they're holding out on something, that once they finally release it, is going to be worth my while. I feel like I could wait 9 more years for this Nicki album and still not like it. Just because of the type of artist that Nicki Minaj is, and the type of person that Nicki Minaj is. Because you can't tell her shit don't stink. Like, Nicki thinks everything she puts out is fire, right? And that's the problem. And if you don't think it's fire, you a hater. So,
well, she has a lot of competition, because I feel like there's a wide variety of female artists coming out these days. You have Remy, who's working on an album right now. Then you have these new city girls.
Remy also making me mad. Huh? Remy's been dropping 7 winters and 6 summers for 2 years. She was talking about that shit when Plata Plomo dropped, and that was like 2 years ago. We were talking about that album.
Remember Plata Plomo?
I do. I mean, I don't.
I feel like everybody forgot it, and it was just
everybody did forget it.
Yeah.
You know what? But points to Eva, Because
are we too much?
Eva definitely said that. She was like, in a year, y'all are not gonna be talking about this album. And I was like, yes, we will. She was like, you really won't. And I was like, okay,
we won't. But
and we're not. So, well, technically, we are.
We are.
Haha! Look at that.
Those who remember will.
Those who know.
Because I definitely do scroll through it. I downloaded it. Let me ask you this: Are we overly consumed with too much music? Like, is it too much music? Like, I'm tired.
We consume with too much everything. What's wrong? Watch no TV, but y'all don't understand that.
Like, I'm at the point where I'm tired of debating music when it comes out the day of. Like, yo, did you hear it? Yes, I heard it. Like, it's nothing. It's nothing else to talk about other than did I hear it? What do you think? I don't know. I just heard it. Like,
I can only do that for like a single and a video. So like when Drake dropped "Nice for," because I feel like "Nice for What," it didn't roll out like song first then video. I feel like it was just a video, right? I feel like it was.
It was song then video, yeah.
No, I think the song and the video came out at the same time.
I don't know. I don't be checking for videos like that.
I don't know. Well, I only
Shout
know
out to Shiggy though.
Shout out to Shiggy. We're gonna get back to that too. But yeah, like if it's like a song, then I'm like, all right, I can judge this song right away because it's a single. Like I can listen to it 5 times in the next hour and be like, okay, here's how I feel about it. But to try to go through like 12 tracks and be like, album came out at 12 midnight and it's fucking 12:45 and you like. Best album of all time. It's like, what the fuck? Like, what are you talking about? Shut up.
Travis
Porter.
No.
Scott. Disick.
Travis Scott recently released music on Friday, and then everybody was like going off on Twitter.
Oh, is that Dreamland, Astroland?
Astro
okay,
World.
Yeah, Astro World. Yes,
and it was like by 6:45 in the morning. People were just like, "Oh, this is best work yet," and I'm just like, "Yo, you guys are not giving us enough time to live with music. Like, don't text me asking me about how I feel about it, or if it's better than the last project, or it's not as good. I don't know. Like, the last project's been probably like 3 years. Like, give me at least another 3 years to live with this to decide if it's going to be a classic or not.
Because also how it ages. Like
this Jay-Z albums, I'll say, why my speaker and my microphone getting crazy right here?
I told you, shit is off in here today.
Shit's off.
Mercury's in retrograde. Technology.
Shut up. I don't want to hear about that.
All right, sorry. Do you know?
There's albums of Jay-Z I didn't.
Are we still recording? Yeah. No, listen. You got listen. Okay, all right. Because you had the other window open. I was like, I don't see the clock rolling. Random. So I was on Twitter the other day. Shout out to Getting Grown, Key and Jade. But they tried to tape their podcast last week 4 times, and each time something went wrong. I was like,
Malcolm said that I had to open up another track to start rolling again.
Yeah, no, it's crazy out here. Mercury's a bitch.
Yeah. So there's Jay-Z albums I didn't agree with, but I didn't listen to. I just wasn't fond of, and I go back and listen to now, and if it fits this time in my life right now.
That's how I feel about Holy Grail. Like when Holy Grail first dropped, I was like, this album's not really for me. Like I didn't hate it, but I also did not love it. Like that Tom Ford shit, I was like, I'm not really fucking with this. But now I go back and listen to stuff off of Holy Grail, and I'm like, oh,
Kingdom Come was like that.
Kingdom Come. Well, I loved Kingdom Come when it came out.
Volume 1 is like that's a few albums. Like, no.
Black Album has never let me down.
Black Album was definitely a go from the gate.
From day one.
Shit was a go.
Still bops.
Yeah.
Still bangers on it. Blueprint 3 surprised me because I was going through like my full Jay-Z Beyonce catalog.
Blueprint 2.
Blueprint 2 slaps obviously. Woo. But 3 surprised me because I thought I didn't like 3 and I listened to 3 like because there's like a whole On the Run playlist on Tidal, of course. So like shit was coming up from Blueprint 3 and I was like, oh, I didn't realize like that on to the next one. I was like, oh no, this shit is tough. Like I like this.
Oh, you just reminded me. 3. Yeah, I remember with 3.
Yeah, that was the shit also had that fucking Empire State of Mind, which I don't ever have to hear ever again. I don't.
Empire State of Mind. Yo, let me tell you what replace that song. Listen, the ultimate New York song now, and mark my words, is the song intro to Power.
The fuck? What are you talking about?
It's a big rich town. That shit.
Who plays that anywhere?
Nigga, it never gets old. This shit.
Yeah, but who plays it? I never heard that on the radio.
I watched. They do play it. 50 even performed it a couple of weeks ago. I listened to that shit in the crib, like a Stars was on. My nigga, Stars.
It was a bop. Oh, you was going in.
Stars played that shit like 5 times because like
I ain't never. Well, that's not true.
They play episode after episode.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, every time it came on, I didn't get tired of it at all. Like I didn't.
But I don't know if I'm gonna say that's the new song in New York though. Like I don't think.
Yo, all right. I won't say of New York, but let me tell you, you cannot.
You just like it because it's some gangsta hood shit.
It's a good song.
I don't think I've ever heard it. I mean, probably like once because I've only seen one episode of Power. So.
Are you serious?
No, I'm lying. I was just joking. Speaking of Sundays, though, Insecure comes back on Sunday. Hey, I gotta fucking sign up for my HBO because I don't want them to play games with me.
Oh, I figured out why. This is such a good song. Joe's on this shit.
Joe? Like, you said Joe?